Okay, good morning, boys and girls, and good morning, friends at home. It's been a week since I've recorded, so I'm glad to have you guys with us at home. So we've been working on fractions. Mrs. Miller started fractions with you. And last week, after doing fractions on with fraction strip, we learned how to put fractions on a number line, okay? So I'm going to draw a number line. You're not doing anything except for you're going to skip count. So what we're doing is fluency, just to get the idea that we can count the unit of fractions as well, okay? So, all right, boys and girls. So, remember how we find our unit? We find our unit by determining how many parts are in one whole. Well, this is one whole from 0 to 1. Do we all agree? That's one whole? So, how many equal parts are there in that one whole? Let's count them, class. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I have 4 equal parts in one whole, what is my unit? My unit is fourths. Very good. So we're going to skip count by fourths up and down this number line. Okay? Belle, can you please pick up your head off because you're not going to step on your heads. All right? Ready? At 0, how many fourths have we counted, boys and girls? 0 fourths. Okay? Then everybody together. 1 fourth. 2 fourths. 3 fourths. 4 fourths. Keep going. 5 fourths, 6 fourths, 7 fourths, 8 fourths. All right, boys and girls. So we actually, last year, we also learned about fractions greater than one whole, didn't we? Well, here's one whole. Sorry, that's a little messy. Here's one whole that is 4 fourths, isn't it? What is one fraction greater than one whole? Well, one fraction greater than one whole, according to my number line, is 5 fourths. Who can give me another fraction greater than one whole? Another fraction, Katie. 8 fourths. 8 fourths is another fraction. What's another fraction greater than one whole? I've been told 5 fourths and 8 fourths. So another fraction greater than one whole fraction. 6 fourths is a fraction greater than one whole. Got one more fraction on my number line greater than one whole. What is it, Amber? 7 fourths. Okay, here's a question for you. What is my fraction equal to one whole on this number line? What is the fraction that is equal to one whole? Yeah.
The fraction that is equal to one whole is 4 fourths because it's 4 equal parts of 4 because that's the one whole. It's 4 of 4 equal parts.
Very good.
2 wholes a little bit.
Very good. You gave a nice explanation. Also, we can say, well, if that fraction 4 fourths is at the same point on the number line is 1, then it's equal to 1 whole. Very good. Now, I'm going to show you something really interesting that we did not cover yet. Are you ready for this? Okay. So 4 fourths. Did you know that fractions are really like a division sentence? And another way for me to say this is 4 divided by 4 equals. Well, you guys all know what 4 divided by 4 equals, right? 4 divided by 4 equals 1. So that also means we can say this 4 divided by 4 equals 1, and our number line proves it, that 4 fourths is 1 whole. Let's come down here. We have the fraction 8 fourths, right? How can I say 8 fourths is a division sentence? I can say 8 divided by 4 equals. Well, what does 8 divided by 4 equal, boys and girls? 8 divided by 4 equals 2. Guess what 8 fourths is at the number line? It's at the whole number 2. Okay, we're going to try one more. We're going to do some counting of our fractions on our number line and then find some fractions that are equal to 1 whole. So you're watching me and you're going to say, I wonder what unit she's going to use on this number line. Probably not going to be fourths again. So here's 1 whole. How many equal parts are in that 1 whole? Owen? 3 equal parts. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3. 3 equal parts. So if I have 3 equal parts in 1 whole, my unit is thirds. Very good. So let's start counting. We're going to count at the end of the number line, and then we're going to count backwards too. So here we've counted how many thirds, boys and girls? 0 thirds.
1 third. 2 thirds, 3 thirds, 4 thirds, 5 thirds, 6 thirds.
Very good, 6 thirds. Now let's count backwards. Ready? We're going to start at 6 thirds. 6/3, 5/3, 4/3, 3/3, 2/3, 1/3, 0. Okay, boys and girls, very good. Remember that these fractions here, we usually box them because they're special fractions. They are called whole number fractions. Why? Because they represent the whole numbers 0, 1, and 2. So they're whole number fractions. Now we just learned that we can say a fraction is a division sentence. So I can say 3/3 is the same as 3 divided by 3. So let's say it, class. 3 divided by 3 equals 1. Very good. And we proved it with our picture because 3/3 is at the whole number 1 on the number line. Okay? Let's do it with 6/3. What division sentence will we say for this? We will say 6 divided by 3 equals. Well, what is 6 divided by 3, class? 2. What is 6/3? 6/3 is 2 whole. So I think fractions are pretty cool. I don't know if you guys. All right. So let's read our learning target because I got a little bit off track, but I wanted to show you how cool whole number fractions work and how we could skip count beyond 1 with fractions on our number line. So we're going to count this, or say, read our learning target on the count of 1, class. 3, 2, 1. We can place any fraction on a number line with endpoints 0 and 1. So last week we were doing unit fractions. This week the only thing that changed is the word any fraction on a number line 0 to 1. Okay, so let's look in our workbook. We are on page 76. So friends at home, you can fill out your information right on the template on Seesaw, or you can put it on your workbook page. Just make sure when you take a picture of your workbook page that it's legible for Mrs. Miller and me to see. All right, so let's read the directions. It says estimate to label the given fractions on the number line. That's direction number 1. Label it. What's our next step in our directions? Be sure to label the fractions at 0 and 1. What else do we have to do? We have to write the fractions above the number line. Oh my goodness, there's a lot to do here. And then our last step is to draw a number bond to match our number line. Okay? So the first fraction they want us to place on the number line is 2/3. Let's go ahead and circle it. 2/3 is the one they want us to find. So I'm thinking, boy, my number line isn't even partitioned yet. So how do I decide how many parts to partition it? Does anybody have a clue how I will decide? Leah? Nice job. I can decide by looking at the denominator. Love the fact that you use that nice math vocabulary where denominator is the bottom number of our fraction. So it is a 3 that stands for third, so I will need 3 equal parts. So go ahead. Remember, in order to make 3 equal parts, you need to draw 2 lines. Make sure they're equal. Take your time. If it doesn't look equal, erase and draw them again. So we did number 1. We estimated, we didn't do anything yet. I guess all we did was partition our number line. Okay? We have to label the fractions at 0 and 1. So here they've already done that for us. At 0, we're at 0/3. At 1, we are at 3/3. We have to find 2/3. I do not want you to put all of the labels on the number line. So if this is 0/3 class, we're going to count 0/3, 1/3, 2/3. Let's put our 2/3 there. There's a reason we're not putting all of the fractions on the number line. So if you did, I wish you would erase it. They wanted us to find the point 2/3, and then they're going to show us how we really have a number bond on our number line with part, whole. Well, let's look at the first part of our number line. How many thirds have we counted, class? 1/3, 2/3. If we're at this point right here, go ahead and put a point on your number line to show 2/3. Put it right on. Remember, I don't want you to show this. Okay, if I'm at 2/3 and I've counted 2/3, how many thirds do I have left to count to the end of the number line? Val?
You have one.
1/3, and there is our number bond. So it becomes, look at boys and girls, part, whole. This is one part here where we have 2/3, and this is another part here where we have 1/3, and 2/3 and 1/3 make up our 1/4. Okay? That's what we're going to be doing on the rest of these activities. So let's look at the next one. Circle your fraction. Whisper to your neighbor what unit your fraction is. A partners go first. That's you. What's our unit? You were supposed to assume this. That would help. What's the unit fraction? Well, 3/4 is the fraction. What's the unit? Because the denominator is fourth. All right, let's come back together. So I'm not sure what you and your partners decided, but Jackson said the unit is fourths. How do we know? Because the denominator is 4, that means we need 4 equal parts. So let's decompose our number line or partition our number line. Remember how we do fours. Go ahead and find the middle of your number line. You'll find the middle of your number line. That's what we do. And then after you decompose in the middle, go ahead and partition each part, each half in half again. Oh, that looks nice, perhaps. And now let's count. We should have 4 equal parts. Count with me, class. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, remember we have to label the whole number fraction. So when we're at 0, how many fourths have we counted? We have counted 0 fourths. When we're at 1 whole, how many fourths have we counted? We have counted 4 fourths. We need to find the fraction 3/4 on the number line. So pick your finger up and let's count fast. 0 fourths. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. Corbin, do that with me. 0 fourths. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. Count with your finger, please. And there's my fraction 3/4. All right, so go ahead and plot a point like Mrs. Reed did at 3/4 on your number line. They have decomposed the number line into 2 parts, haven't they? How many fourths are in our first part? Let's go ahead and draw our number line. We have 1 whole. We're dividing it into 2 parts. This is our first part. How many fourths is that? Count them, class. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. That is 3/4. And if you want, you can draw a bracket to show that that is 3/4 altogether. And then how many more fourths do we need to count to get to 1 whole? Look at my number line. What do I need to count? 1/4, so that is my other part. So we have 3/4 and 1/4, and that equals 1 whole. So you guys just found how to place the number 3/4 on the number line. Let's go to the next one. What is my unit? The next one, circle your fraction. What unit will I be using on the next one, Lucas? Fifths, very good. So how many equal parts does fifths mean, boys and girls? It means 5 equal parts. And that means how many lines will we have to use to partition our number line? 4 lines. So go ahead and draw 4 lines. Try your best to make sure that they are equal. After you've drawn 4 lines, you should have 5 equal parts. We need to find the fraction 3/5. So we're at 0, boys and girls. How many fifths have we counted? We have counted 0 fifths. Go ahead and put it. And then we want to find 3/5. So let's count, boys and girls. 0 fifths. Point and count, please, on your paper. Point and count. 0 fifths, 1/5, 2 fifths, 3 fifths. Plot your point at 3 fifths and label it 3 fifths. Okay, if we keep going, remember we have to label our whole number fractions. This would be 4/5. If the whole number 1, we would have 5/5. Why? Because we counted all 5 parts on our number line. And now our last thing we need to do is we need to show how we decompose the number line. First, we counted how many fifths. First, we counted how many fifths. Lori. 3/5. Very good. There's my 3/5. Remember, count class. 1/5, 2/5, 3/5. How many? If I'm at 3/5, how many fifths do I have to count to get to 1 whole? How many fifths? Gideon, will I have to count to get from 3/5 to 1 whole? 2. Dress up your number. Pardon? 2/5. Very good. 2/5. Okay, the next one is 6. Okay, and so remember how we make 6 on our number line. The fraction decompose line we will consider. We've got 2 more. One is 6 and one is 10. Let's circle the fraction that we're going to be plotting on the number line. It is 5/6. Anybody remember how to make 6? What do we do? Who can walk me through the steps to make 6? Rago. Nope, not 3 lines. At first I'm going to make thirds, so I need 2 lines. And then once I have thirds, how do I turn my thirds into 6? Amber.
You split your thirds.
Yep, so split each one of these in half. So just like we did with our fraction strips, but now we're doing it on a number line. Whoops, no, this is the thirds first. So split into 3 equal parts, that makes 2 lines. You don't have to make it like this, because that's how we make 2 equal parts. And then I got my 2 fingers, and my 1 is 6. Don't need them that way. Look up in my see there, that's what's this one. Put that okay? There we go. All right, boys and girls. So when I'm at the whole number 0, how many 6 have we counted? Everybody. 0, 6. We need to get to 5, 6. So count with me. Please use your pencil or your finger to count. 0, 6. 1, 6. 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, 6, 5, 6. Almost to the end of my number line. I'm going to plot my point and write the fraction 5, 6 above it. And now I'm going to show on my number line, or on my number bond, how I decomposed the number line. Go ahead and do that on your own. What will my 2 parts be in the number bond? Use your number line to help you. Very good. So I need to make sure that you got so many lines. Is that even on there? But this isn't that long. So when they come, they don't have to do that. So this one is perfect. Okay. Yeah, and then so you do that. It makes it longer. I'm not sure. First is it. But not going to be split in the middle. We need 2 lines. It's 4, 3, 2. So probably about here. Don't make it off of one. We'll go here and here and go down side. They got it. So I got the rest of the oh my goodness, I guess this is really easy, isn't it, boys and girls? Okay, there's one thing I'm missing on my number line. I'm missing the fraction for the whole number 1. What fraction will I put at the whole number 1? Or then you can go. 6, 6, very good. So that means I've counted all 6 parts out of the 6 parts. Now, show me how you partitioned or decomposed your number line into what two parts. Val, what will the first part be?
The first part will be 5, 6.
And the second part will be
The second part will be
1,
1,
6. Very good.
I know
So the
that
per
from counting on it.
very good. She found it by counting on the number line. So it's 0, 6, 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, 6, 5, 6 was my first part. What do I have left to count? I have 1, 6 left to count. Okay, the next one is tenths. So this is going to be tricky, so I'm going to ask you to do it with me when I do it, okay? Everybody got your pencil? Okay, we need tenths, 3 tenths. So first we're going to make fifths, okay? You ready to make fifths? And then once we have our fifths, we can split those in half to make tenths. So fifths means 4 lines. So go ahead and do 4 lines. Make sure they're as equal as you can make them, 4 lines. I would recommend, boys and girls, a lot of you are doing these lines that look like this. And guess what? That makes it a lot messier. See how tiny mine are? You just need enough of a line there to show you where the fractions are. And then it will keep your work a little bit more legible. So I've got 4 lines, 5 equal parts. Then I'm going to split those in half. And then what I want you to do is count and make sure that you have those 10 parts. So I'm going to count my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Phew! I had 10 parts. Did you count yours? Did you? Very good. All right, put your hand on your head if you have 10 equal parts. Okay, let's go ahead and count. We're going to find the fraction 3 tenths, but we're going to start with 0. How many tenths have we counted right here, boys and girls? 0 tenths.
0 tenths.
Okay, so let's count on 1 tenth, 2 tenths, 3 tenths. I'm going to plot my point at 3 tenths and write my fraction above it. And then I've got to find my fraction at the whole number 1. We should all know that if it's the whole number 1, it's 10 tenths. Remember also, 10 divided by 10 equals 1, okay? Go ahead and show your number bond with 1 whole and the 2 parts we made on our number line. What will the 2 parts be? Five tenths, 6 tenths, 7 tenths. Five tenths, give me from 4 to 6. 4 tenths, 5 tenths. All right. Owen, help me out. What were the 2 parts in our number bond? The first time we counted 1 tenth, 2 tenths, what? 3 tenths. And then what was the second part of your number line? How many tenths? 7 tenths. Very good. So if you were confused, follow along with Mrs. Reed up here. I'm at 3 tenths. I got to figure out how many more tenths do I count till I get to 1 whole. And I'm going to count 1 tenth, 2 tenths, 3 tenths, 4 tenths, 5 tenths, 6 tenths, 7 tenths. Okay, let's turn the page. I think we might have a word problem or two to do.
Yeah. We have. It's 10.
Okay, it says, draw a number line, use a fraction strip to locate 0 and 1, fold the strip to make 8 equal parts, use the strip to measure and label your number line with 8s. Boy, that's a lot of information, isn't it? So first, please don't do it without me. I'm going to draw a number line. Then I'm going to use a fraction strip to locate 0 and 1. Then I have to fold it to make 8 equal parts. Then I have to use the strip to measure and label your number line with 8s. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do. We're going to draw our number line. Make sure you draw it down here. Look up here. Draw it kind of near the bottom of your workspace, because above it we are going to put a fraction strip. So after I draw my number line above it, I'm going to do my fraction strip. And I'm going to make sure it's shorter than my number line. And then I'm going to use that fraction strip to help me find 0 and 1. So look up here, boys and girls. I'm going to start right here and I'm going to trace down. And that will be my 0. And I'm going to go to the end of my fraction strip and I'll trace down and that will be my 1. Go ahead, Chris. Nice job. Don't worry about how big it doesn't move the camera. There, that's, well, if that's the easy, but that's not going to be easy. All right, put your hand on your head if you found 0 and 1 on your number line. Okay, next we're going to fold our fraction strip to make 8 parts. Well, we don't really have a piece of paper, so what are we going to do? We're going to divide it in half. Go ahead and divide your fraction strip in half. And then you're going to divide your halves in half again. So now we have fourths, right? And then you're going to divide those in half again, and now you should have 8 equal parts. And I want you to go ahead and label them 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8. All right, boys and girls, now we're going to use the strip to measure and label our number line with 8s. Are you ready? Here we've counted how many 8s? Right here, class. 0 8s. And let's box that. Okay, now I'm going to use my fraction strip and I'm going to go from here, trace down each partition of my fraction strip, and that's going to help me make my partitions on my number line. When you're done, you should have 8 equal parts, so I can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this is why we're doing this activity. At this point on our number line, how many 8s have we counted? We have counted 1 8, so we will write underneath that 1 8. At this point on our number line, how many 8s have we counted? We have counted 2 8s. You get the idea? Here we've counted 3 8s. You can tell by your fraction strip. 4 8s, 5 8s, 6 8s, 7 8s, and last but not least, 8 8s. And I am going to box that one. Actually, I'm going to put that above it because it's a whole number fraction. Okay. And that's really what they wanted you to do. So they're trying to get you to make the association from the fraction strip that we've drawn a lot of to the number line. Okay? Now, the next part is going to help us use the number line. It says count up from 0 8s to 8 8s on your number line. Touch each number with your finger as you count. So let's start with those. Touch each number with your finger. Ready? 0 8s, 1 8, 2 8s, 3 8s, 4 8s, 5 8s, 6 8s, 7 8s, 8 8s. Okay? That's all there was to that. By a lot of steps, but that's what they wanted you to do. Go ahead, Jackson. Okay, let's look at the next one. The next one is very tricky. Okay, number 3 says, for his boat, Jamie stretched out a rope with 5 equally spaced knots as shown. Starting at the first knot and ending at the last knot, how many equal parts are formed by the 5 knots? Let's count them, class. How many parts are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 knots, but there are 4 equally spaced parts, right? So what will our unit be, boys and girls? 4. Our unit will be 4. It says, let's make this into a number line then. And we'll do the fractions. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here we will have 0/4? How many fourths will we have here, class? 1/4. How many fourths here? 2/4. How many fourths here? 3/4, and then 4/4. There were 4 equal parts, so that made our unit. It says label each fraction at the knot. Now they want to see if we can read our number line. What fraction of the rope is labeled at the third knot? Well, everybody find the third knot. Just point to it. Find your third knot. Nope. Nope. Find the third knot. We need to label that one. Nope. Oh my goodness, a lot of you are not at the third knot. Nope. Yes. The third knot. Where's the third knot? Nope. Nope. So this is why I said it is tricky. Point to the first knot. Where's the first knot? Right here, right? Where's the second knot? Right here. Where's the third knot? What fraction is at the third knot? 2/4. 2/4 is at the third knot. So one more time, they wanted you to point to the third knot. 1, 2, 3. What fraction is at the third knot? 2/4. You need to extend that to the fraction. Okay, and last but not least, if the rope had 6 equally spaced knots along the same length, what fraction of the rope would be measured by the first 2 knots? So if we had 6 equally spaced knots instead of 5 equally spaced knots, we would have fifths. Okay, so those knots are kind of like your line. So we would have fifths, and what fraction of the rope would be measured by the first 2 knots? We would have 0/5, and we would have 1/5 with 6 equally spaced knots. Okay, that was a little tricky. Okay, they really kind of, how many people got messed up by pointing to the third knot and you went here? A lot of you did. I think they were trying to trick you a little bit. Okay. All right, boys and girls, thank you very much. Put those away. We'll get ready to go to lunch.